How do you test new mattresses? Flop like a fish? Inspect every square inch? Or order online and just hope for the best? You could test mattresses any number of ways, or let Mattress Warehouse's proprietary diagnostic tests narrow down the selection for you. Visit a store near you to try Bed Match, the test that's matched millions. So where would you look to find the perfect mattress? In a little mattress store or Mattress Warehouse? Visit mattresswarehouse.com.
This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. These are 7 of the stories that we're following this morning, and thank you for listening. First, Domino's same-store sales fell. They dropped this quarter by 0.5%. That was different than expectations that they would rise. The media essentially says it's tariff concerns, macroeconomic uncertainty, high inflation hitting consumer sales. We'll see if that's the case or not. But either way, Domino's is down about 2% pre-market today. It's up about 16% year to date. Second, the futures markets point slightly down this morning after a terrific week last week. Last week, the NASDAQ jumped 6.7%, so a great week for the markets last week. This week might be a tougher week than last week. There's also a story in the Wall Street Journal this morning. The Magnificent Seven are off to the worst start since 2022, and this is worrying investors some, of course. Third story, the Wall Street Journal also reports that stocks have clawed back most of April's tariff losses. That's overall good news. Fourth, Spotify continues to rock and roll. It's up nearly 38% year to date, just overall doing terrific. Fifth, a fascinating story on Tesla. Tesla finds itself losing money this last quarter on car sales, but making it up on the sale of regulatory credits. Obviously, long-term, making money on regulatory credits is not a true business. Either way, their stock pointed way up last week on the concept that the government would make it easier to sell and allow self-driving vehicles. So ultimately, they had a terrific week last week, but their core car business is not going great right now. Sixth, NVIDIA jumped almost 9.4% last week, but remains at a market cap of $2.74 trillion. That's a lot less than the nearly $3.5 trillion they were once at. Finally, seventh, Los Angeles had its credit rating downgraded by S&P to a AA-. The S&P cited the city's deteriorating finances and budget woes for the move. This is a scary sign for cities, states, the federal government. As we often say, debt kills countries, families, companies. No good to see lots of these cities and states over-indebted with too much debt. Finally, eighth, Apple remains down 16% year to date and is a market cap back above $3.14 trillion. So back in the threes, that's good news. But remember, at one point it was flirting with $4 trillion. Finally, one other PS. Got a podcast last week on Learn to Love Your 90%ers. Focus on what they do great. Your people that are operating at A minus, B plus. Focus on what they do great and don't harp on what they do imperfectly. That's the thought for the day. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you very, very much.